Honorable Dr. Anis Rasyid Baswedan, Distinguished Speaker for the 25th ISTAC World Professorial Lecture.
What is your opinion if this language became the official language of ASEAN?
Our roots, its environmental is essential. In positive attempt or association, that there we encounter various beliefs.
God will, you become the President of Indonesia, and
it values, it respect, and it absorb religious values. So on that sense, it is more on the maqasid principle of Sharia that is being practiced.
Tanpa mengenal lelah, perjuangan seorang tokoh dunia dari Indonesia tak pernah berhenti memberikan berbagai pengetahuan dan warna baru pada dunia pendidikan. Di sela-sela padatnya berbagai agenda kampanye, kandidatnya beliau adalah salah satu calon Presiden Republik Indonesia. Tokoh dunia Dr. Anis Rasyid Baswedan masih bisa menyempatkan dirinya memenuhi undangan di Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur. Bakal calon Presiden Dr. Anis Rasyid Baswedan belum lama ini diundang sebagai pembicara dunia dalam kuliah profesional dunia stage ke-25. Acara tersebut digelar di Universiti Islam Antarbangsa Malaysia Kuala Lumpur. Beliau berkunjung ke Malaysia bukan tanpa alasan. Dr. Anis Rasyid Baswedan diundang menjadi pembicara di acara Stage World Professional Lecture 2023. Di sana Anis Baswedan memiliki beragam agenda. Salah satunya adalah menjadi pembicara di beberapa kampus Malaysia. Sambutan hangat oleh para audiens di Malaysia karena kedatangan salah satu tokoh dunia dari Indonesia, Dr. Anis Rasyid Baswedan. Berbagai gagasan pada International Institute of Islamic Thought and Civilization World Professional Lecture 2003 di kampus Stage Universiti Islam Antarbangsa Malaysia Kuala Lumpur.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Assalamualaikum Pak Anis. As what you mentioned before, the Malay language is similar to Indonesian language. So I think without a translator we can understand each other. So can I proceed my question with bahasa?
There is non-Malay in attendance here.
So with English then.
Pak Anis asked you to ask the question in English then, to the benefit of the other audience.
Okay. So I would like to ask regarding the language of Malay. What is your opinion if this language became the official language of ASEAN beside English? Because I think this language is spoken in Malaysia, southern Thailand, and some part of Indonesia. So what do you think if this language became the official language of ASEAN? Thank you.
Namanya apa?
Azam Kasubah.
Azam. Okay. Yes, please.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Safa Basyarahil, and I'm second year student from IIUM, and I'm from Indonesia. So I want to ask, maybe for some people...
Could you come closer to the mic?
Maybe for some people this is an easy question to answer, but for us as a student, maybe we need a very good and clear answer. If you say that by building trust, we can create a peaceful region. In line with the theme of our event, I would like to ask, how can we, as students, create similar trust in positive attempt or association that there we encounter various beliefs in action? I seek your opinion. In your view, is it prevailable to establish an association with a singular path, but fewer members and just stop there, or continue to get people on our side? But even though it demands significant energy and a prolonged effort to build a more inclusive community with us.
So basically it's about how to build trust.
Yes, but I asked for, is it prevailable to establish an association with a singular path, but fewer members and just stop there?
Yeah.
Or continue to get people on our side, but it hard and demands significant energy and a prolonged effort to build a more inclusive community with us. All right.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
It's very clear. Okay, can we have next?
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I am Wadita Surya Putri from Indonesia, and I just doing exchange student in IIUM.
Come closer a bit, sister.
So my question is about the sustainable development. I think sometimes the effort to develop the economy value work clash with the interest within the society. And you said before earlier that one of our roots is environmental is essential. And my question is, what is the best way to create harmonization between environment and economy issue based on your experience? Based on your experience as a governor of Jakarta. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, can we have last?
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. My name is Shahbuddin Mun. I'm a political analyst, and at the same time, I'm the chairman of the Political Bureau and Leadership Bureau of Majlis Perundingan Melayu Malaysia. It's a Malay Consultative Council of Malaysia. So, in fact, when I'm a political analyst, I engage to your Excellency videos all the way before I sleep, because after all, His Excellency is fighting for a very important position in Indonesia. So I know that you are very popular with the youth in Indonesia. So now I have seen right in front of me. So you are my idol too. Yeah, most of your thinking has gone into my writing style. So what I'm going to say today, assuming His Excellency, you win this coming presidential election in Indonesia. So this is a time, I believe, from my own personal research, that a leader like you, the leader who have the Islamic, more or less, portray that what happened to this country, the Islamist party passed, is more or less come to the majority supported by our Malaysia and Indonesia. I believe the same trend will be in your favor, inshallah. So means I've seen your short lecture with a very wide topic of Malay civilization, all that. And I more wanted to know what happened is, God will, you become the President of Indonesia, and our beloved Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim, who is my idol too. And I think both of you has got certain chemistry here. What is what sort of cooperation now, you know, there are a lot of economics, all that. What is the future? You're talking about AI and all various cooperation and relationship. So this is what I would like to explore. Thank you, His Excellency.
Thank you very much. Before we go to that, let's allow the Dr. Anis to answer first the question. I think, Dr. Anis, are you going to be interested to answer the last question first before we go up?
I'll do the last.
Yeah, okay.
So help me to reiterate some of these questions.
Yeah, the last question, right?
No, the previous.
The first question, okay. The first question is related to the culture of gotong royong that you mentioned in your lecture just now.
With regard to using bahasa as a language, we need to enrich our language to begin with. I don't know how many words in Malay today. how many words of Malay? The number of words in the Malay language. How many? Anyone? In Bahasa Indonesia, we have 150,000 words in Bahasa Indonesia. And I remember when I started my job as Minister of Education, at that time it was only around 90,000. So I told our team, we need to enrich our language because 90,000 is not enough. Do you know how many words in the language, in English language? 1 million. And 7,000 additional words every year. How many languages in Arabic? 12.7 million words. Okay? So when you talk about our language becoming a language of international community, you really need to do our homework, enrich our language. How do we enrich our language? Absorb local language across the archipelago. Across the archipelago. Because in many local languages, even the word falling, it can be 20 words of falling. If you fall to the front, that's a different word. If you fall to the back, that's a different word. If you fall because it's slippery, that's a different word. And if you fall because there is a hole, it's a different word. What I'm saying is that, you know, richness of language is important when you present it to the international community as an international language. So that is why it's important for us here in Indonesia and Malaysia to continue enriching our language so that we can stand up in the international community and presenting our language to the world. But if we haven't done our homework, wait a minute, okay? Hold on. So do our homework. Now, harmonizations of economy and ecology. This is something that we need to look at it beyond profit, but benefit. If you look at simply from the perspective of cost and benefit, then investing in environmental friendly approaches often being seen as expensive. That's why we need to view our expenses with regard to environment not as cost, but as investment. If we see this as cost, then we try to minimize the cost at the expense of ecology. But if we look at it as investment, then we are talking about the benefit that we may be getting in the futures. And that's how we change the equation. So the triple P, which has been popular in the past decades, profit, people, planets, it's an equations that we need to put together and seeing this as creating benefits. Now, visions of Indonesia and Malaysia, these last questions with regard to the presidential election in Indonesia, as well as here in Malaysia with Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim, who is now the Prime Minister of Malaysia. Pak Anwar Ibrahim is an inspiration to so many of us. Needless to say, he is an inspiration. And for myself too, he was leaders of students, leaders of youth of Malaysia, and his stories were also all over Indonesia. So we follow through, and we're very proud of him and his leadership. And now, Indonesia is undergoing a transformations in the past 25 years. We had reform in '98, and after 25 years of reform, we are seeing new generations coming up. And the way I look at this is this. This is two nations that has populations of Muslims in large numbers and practice democracy, and generally speaking, practice tolerance And yet, this is also a region in which prosperity is present. And I cannot think of other word except continuing the path of creating justice to all, so that this transformation continue. When we talk about Indonesia, for example, I think Malaysia the same thing. We and the rest of the world, modern world, we are seeing that the gap between modern industrialized nations with us is narrowing. The gap is narrowing. So cities like KL, Tokyo, London, Amsterdam, the difference was not as wide as it used to be in the 70s or 80s. Now the gap is narrowing. But on the other hand, the gap within countries are widening. So the gap between Jakarta and our remote area and our smaller cities are now widening. This is the challenge for future leadership. If we are able to address this issue and spread equal opportunity, I think the world can look at us here in Southeast Asia, and we will be able to go out there and say, this is a nation, this is two nations who have Muslim majority population, practicing democracy, delivering equality, common prosperity, something that the world should look at us as an example. This is not only regions that went through democratizations, but this is regions where democracy delivers. And we all know that we have been given the positions of Khalifah that create sort of equilibrium, the feeling of balances. And I think that is something that we'd like to share with the rest of the world. So pray for us that inshallah in our elections, that spirit can win the hearts and minds of the people of Indonesia. And if we are able to do that, inshallah, we'd like to see, if I may put it this way, that Indonesia officially and technically is not a Muslim state. It's not an Islamic state. It is not a secular state either. For the lack of better terms in political science, it is a Pancasila state, non-religious base. However, it values, it respects, and it absorbs religious values. So on that sense, it is more on the maqasid principle of Sharia that is being practiced. If we are able to deliver the purpose, the ultimate purpose of Sharia, then it's not so much an Islamic state, or even we rarely talk about Muslim majority, because this is a country of all ethnics, of all groups, and diversity is part of us. And I think if we are able to deliver that, inshallah, we will send a very positive message across the globe, and to undo some of the framings or perceptions out there that in a Muslim majority nations, through democracy cannot prevail. Malaysia and Indonesia have, and also perhaps Turkey, have shown to the world that we are able to practice democracy. Democracy delivers, harmony is present. So that's a message for everyone. Terima kasih.